of legality. Let's talk about the story. UnitedHealthcare CEO gets fucking murked by a hitman. Now, of course, I must urge you not to Fed post in this chat, even though, holy shit, everyone. Like, I think this is one of the first instances where I've ever seen so much universal support for something that is so criminal. You know what I mean? Honestly, I don't know. We're living in interesting times. We're living in scary times. We're living in interesting times. Let's take a look at the story.
For the suspect who gunned down UnitedHealthcare CEO Brian Thompson outside a New York City hotel. Our senior investigative correspondent, Aaron Katursky, is at the hotel with the latest on the investigation. Good morning to you, Aaron.
Good morning to you, Robin. 24 hours after this assassination.
Okay, what is Fed posting though? Fed posting is when people just like get out of hand and say unhinged shit in the chat that might get them the attention of federal law enforcement. Also, oftentimes it's federal law enforcement that writes stuff like that in online chats to agitate people so that they can pop them, you know, coerce people. But some crazy stuff happened yesterday in New York City. And honestly, very interesting times that we live in. Let's take a look.
Style killing. The killer is at large, but he left behind a trail of clues here at the scene that may lead police to him and to a possible motive, suggesting anger with the insurance industry. This morning, a frantic manhunt for the man authorities spotted on this survey.
So this dude, big homie over here, okay, Mr. CEO, walking up to his hotel, okay, having a wonderful day. You know, he's like, man, I can't wait to get a fucking child with cancer, no coverage, so their fucking family is saddled with medical debt. You know, just a regular old day for Mr. CEO. He's just like, walking over to my medical conference where I'm going to go, you know, hang out with a bunch of other CEOs, and we're going to talk about how many claims we denied, that sort of shit. I assume that's what's happening in the mind of a healthcare CEO on any given Sunday, right? Like, you got to be constantly thinking like, man, $35 billion in pure profit this year. What a banger. Artificial intelligence to deny claims, 90% of which are actually wrong. What a fantastic invention I engaged in. How the medical innovation, oh my Lord, the amount of coverage that we can just fucking deny because we made up some random AI thing. So sick. Like, that's probably what's going on in his mind, okay? I mean, he's up early. That Sigma grind set. It's 6 a.m., okay? He up early as hell thinking about all the ways in which he's going to ruin the lives of tens of thousands of Americans. Because if you're that rich and that's your job, why the fuck are you up at 6 a.m.? You know what I mean? Like, why are you up 6 a.m.? Turns out this guy, he outgrindsetted the grindset CEO. Turns out he's up at 6 a.m. This motherfucker was up at 4 a.m. Okay? There's always a guy out there working harder, working smarter. He was like, oh yeah, you're up at 6 a.m.? Guess what, dude? You're down at 6:30. Okay? That's what he said. Walks up to him, bloom, blap, bloom. Now, those weren't the sounds that came out of that gun, because as you can see, this is a very long barrel. Guess what? That's not a barrel. That is a silencer. Okay? That's right. Now, the interesting part about that is, no, this was not a fart. It was silent but deadly, but it was not a fart. Okay? It was a suppressor on his pistol. And most likely using subsonic rounds as well. That's the speculation on why the bullet, why he had to constantly fucking like rechamber after, what is that what it's called? Like when your gun is jamming, basically. Which was really crazy because it looked like an open and shut, like professional case. And the reason why I say that is because he was so cool throughout this entire process. I don't mean cool like, oh my God, he's like swagged out. That's a totally separate conversation. I mean, like he was cool as cool as a cucumber. Like he was very calm throughout this process. He was very thorough. Now, people were saying that maybe it was because he wanted to get the casings after every shot, like collected, professional hitman style, Sicario style. Turns out he wanted to leave the casings there, as a matter of fact, because he wrote stuff on the fucking casings. He wrote stuff on the shells, which is wild. Okay. And when I first saw the story and I saw the media coverage over it, I thought it was very funny that people were like, yeah, this healthcare CEO got executed in broad daylight in the middle of in the middle of New York City. And the motive is unknown. And I was like, yeah, no, I think the motive is known. Like, it's one of those guys where I don't think this was a gay lovers quarrel, I don't think this was like, oh, his ex-wife called out a hit on him. Like, it's like, that would be a unique setting. You know what I mean? It's like, it's one of those situations where it's like, if you heard Vladimir Putin got assassinated, you wouldn't be like, I wonder what the motive is here. You know what I mean? Like, there's many motives in that situation, but like, you feel me? Like, I doubt someone is doing that over the anger that they feel towards, I don't know, some kind of new tax that Vladimir Putin implemented. Right? Yeah, a real Paul Pelosi gay lovers quarrel situation. So, interestingly enough, this happened.
Video shooting and killing Brian Thompson, the CEO of UnitedHealthcare. Police said it was no.
What's crazy is this motherfucker was wearing a quarter zip in this fucking profile picture. Like, it is such, at this point, it's such a meme. Like, these guys, they love their quarter zips, dude. Like, I'm sorry. Like, what are we doing, dude? Why? You took a headshot. Well, no pun intended. And you were repping the quarter zip in the headshot, What are we doing here? What's going on? Y'all don't got nothing else? You just got quarter zips?
Every indication is that this was a premeditated, pre-planned, targeted attack.
The gun appears to have a silencer and jammed. When the shooter cleared it, police say he fired again.
From watching the video, it does seem that he's proficient in the use of firearms, as he was able to clear the malfunctions pretty quickly.
All units be advised in regards.
So that's a really interesting predicament because on the one hand, I don't know enough about guns, at least like suppressors and subsonic rounds, but like, I feel like if he was like a massive pro, I suspect that like some things that he did made me think that he is professional, but some things that he did made me not feel like he's professional. So I feel like when he has a suppressor on, like, shouldn't you be testing that at some point to make sure that it doesn't jam? Am I wrong about this? Gun perverts, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel as though, like, is it that inconsistent that even if you have a pistol, even if you have a suppressor, even if you test it out, right? even if you test it out ahead of time, it still has the capacity to jam. So like that kind of made me feel like maybe this is not a pro, but also the fact that he cleared it and walked slowly and continued, eyes on the prize, that made me think he is a pro. The gun wouldn't cycle because of the subsonic ammo plus the suppressor. The gun isn't jamming. Subsonic rounds don't have enough power to move the slide all the way. Yeah, that's what I assume, but it didn't jam. You have to manually re-rack with subsonic ammo and a suppressor. The one they say delay is the one that blocked the gun, which is wild. It's not the ammo, not the suppressor, but it's odd he didn't test this since some guns will jam with subsonic ammo. Suppressors create more back pressure, so it should make the gun cycle faster. But if he had subsonic rounds, they would be quieter, but maybe not cycle the action. And yes, you would test it, but he may have removed the mainspring so the gun doesn't cycle on purpose because it makes it way quieter. The fact he was proficient in clearing the jam means he was expecting it to jam. Yeah, I mean, I feel like, putting myself in his shoes, right? In a situation, not when I'm like, executing the fucking CEO of a healthcare company that is responsible for denied coverage to tens of thousands of Americans. I'm just saying, like, in a situation where, like, if I'm shooting a gun at all at a range and it fucking jams, I don't have the technical proficiency to deal with it. I'm going to freak the fuck out. Right? So the fact that he was able to clear it while continuing to walk made me feel like he knew what the fuck he was doing. So, interesting stuff. Why would it change my opinion? Clearly the gun is cycling because gas is being released from the top of the gun when it's firing and is experiencing an FD, FDF. The only difference subsonic ammunition would make is what type of failure the gun is experiencing. Appears to be a BNT VP9. Magazine fed manually cycled gun with wait, no. Was it a man? No. No, it's not. This person just made that up. VP9 is actually on my gun wish list. I didn't realize I had so many fucking gun fuckers in the chat, dude. What's wrong with you? Y'all are some real freaks, you know that? Like, what kind of... I've never even seen a gun like this. What do you mean this is on your wish list? I didn't even know this existed. Shit looks like a gun that a child would assume a gun looks like. Okay? This literally feels like a gun I would draw in like 5th grade before I ever encountered American gun culture.
I'm starting to see a bunch of comments coming through on mostly my Wellrod videos suggesting that Brian Thompson, the CEO of UnitedHealthcare, who was...
Dude, gun channels are having a fucking incredible time.
...recently killed in New York City, was in fact killed with a Wellrod or a modern VP9. All of those comments, those theories are in fact pretty conclusively wrong. I've watched that video, the surveillance video myself.
Okay, first of all, I don't want to give anybody pointers, like especially the surveillance state, but how the fuck is CCTV footage in 2024 still so ass? Okay, what are we doing? You can't tell anything in that footage except for how fucking cool the guy was in his demeanor. Okay? You cannot tell if that's a well rod or a rod. You barely can tell it's a gun. Every goddamn CCTV footage still in 2024 is literally Vaseline lens, 1P, Makes no damn sense. Kathy Hochul stopping congestion pricing played a role in the escape. It didn't, but I want him to put in congestion pricing.
And what I'm seeing there is a typical semi-auto pistol with a suppressor that has been set up poorly and has malfunctioned on almost every shot. We see the guy grabbing the slide and yanking it back to clear malfunctions. That may seem like the same sort of motion that's required to cycle a well rod or VP9, but it's not. Having shot a number of well rods and VP9s, it's definitely a different mechanic going on. And looking at that video, the guy is clear.
This guy, okay, bro, how many times have you shot a fucking healthcare CEO, though? You know what I mean? Totally different circumstances, sir. He's like, oh, I shot a lot of well rods. Okay, not in the direction of a CEO. Maybe it's different. Have you thought about that? No, you haven't, okay? All you care about is the gun. It's a totally different, dude, you don't understand. It's a totally different motion in that moment. He knows how guns work, bro. Guys, I'm fucking joking. Can everybody calm down? Put some respect on Forgotten Weapon's name. It's a joke, dude. I'm joking. God damn. Half a chat was making fun of the fucking random debate lords at Cambridge who also do not have the capacity to understand jokes. And now they're doing it themselves. Gum perverts gonna out themselves as assassin because everyone's getting it wrong?
Clearly trying to fix a regular semi-auto pistol. He is not shooting a well rod or a VP9. I'm starting to see a bunch of comments coming through on mostly my well.
Were you serious when you said the casings had writings on them? That's what they're saying. Anyway. UnitedHealthcare orders employees to not talk to the press in the wake of the CEO's murder. What? That's insane. What do you mean? What do you mean? It's saying fucking you can't talk to the... Oh, there's also oh God, fucking one of the worst parts of being in EU is like every goddamn fucking webpage is like, accept the cookies, mate. Do you accept the cookies, mate? Anyway, let's get back to it. So yeah, UnitedHealthcare CEO is shot. A real doop, doop, doop situation. Okay. The guy just fucking walks away. Now, that is obviously an interesting story in and of itself, but I think one of the more interesting aspects of this story, one of the most interesting aspects of the story isn't even necessarily like the casings that he left on scene that said the words deny, defend, and depose, according to ABC News, which, by the way, is very similar to the title of the book, Delay, Deny, Defend, Why Insurance Companies Don't Pay Claims and What You Can Do About It by J.M. Feynman. Shooter of UnitedHealthcare Chief Executive Brian Thompson wrote, Deny, Defend, Depose on the shell casings. The words echo the name of a book about how insurers won't pay claims. It's an earthquake for corporate America. So, do you think he's mad they're reporting the casing words in the wrong order? Probably not worried about that for the time being, but let's continue.
Confirmed male shot in the confines of Midtown North.
Police say it was around 6:45 a.m. Wednesday when the suspect, pictured at a Starbucks before the shooting, gunned down Thompson as he was walking alone into the Hilton for an investors conference. And in new video overnight, the shooter seen here about 20 minutes before the shooting.
They're looking for a male about 5 feet 10 inches in height, cream color.
Yo, by the way, like, you know, don't get mad at me. I don't want to be like inappropriate here, but he looks kind of fucking hot, dude. I cannot be the only person who immediately went, wow, clearly this guy has interesting style and also is kind of attractive, which is part of the reason why I thought if they catch him and he gets his message out and he's fucking hot, it's going to be a far more consequential problem. They should let him go. Honestly, I'm not even joking when I say this. They should let him go, because if they catch him and they arrest him and then he gets to talk and says, this is why I did it, it's going to be a Shinzo Abe situation. Fuck it. It already has become a Shinzo Abe situation. And that's actually the truly interesting part about this story. Now, America, we have gun violence all day, every day. And usually the gun violence that occurs is some random guy who fucking loses their minds for one reason or another, ends up killing some of the most marginalized people in society. It's either a white supremacist teenager who wants to kill like black and brown people. You go to El Paso, to fucking Walmart in El Paso, shoots like as many brown people as possible, goes to a fucking black neighborhood deliberately in Buffalo, shoots as many black people as possible. It's either stuff like that, or again, someone who's like very clearly mentally ill that goes and like kills classmates, right? That's the norm. It's not the norm. And I said this when Donald Trump was shot. It's not the norm when you got a shooter who's like, you know, I'm actually going to do something consequential. I'm actually going to effectively identify where the vectors of my demise are, and I'm going to target them. That's not normal. And that's precisely the reason why when it's business as usual mass shootings, everybody goes, ugh, thoughts, prayers, whatever, right? But when this happens, they're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You can't do that. That's an important guy. That's a rich guy. That's an important guy. That's a guy who has power. You can't do that. That's not allowed. Go kill school children. The fuck do you mean? The fuck do you mean you killed a goddamn UnitedHealthcare CEO? Excuse me. Those are your lords and your masters. You don't. What do you mean? No, you're supposed to take your anger out on random Americans, dumbass. The fuck? And it's really interesting. It's really interesting when a peasant rises up against the Lord, you know? Because what I realized is when I see situations like that, maybe it's because I cover so much death and so much destruction that like it doesn't really faze me that much. I mean, I'm always like, that's interesting. It's usually the approach that I have. Now, I didn't realize I wasn't alone. I thought I was alone. I thought there was something wrong with my brain, you know? People took it way further than me. You go on TikTok. I went on TikTok. I saw the news coverage. And I would look at the comments. And literally everyone in the comments is like, oh my God, can you kill more CEOs, please? I was like, what the fuck? What do you mean? Hello? On fucking Facebook, on your grandpappy's Kalan's meat, motherfuckers are out there celebrating. Okay? What is going on? On Facebook, the UnitedHealthcare Facebook account, which is such a funny thing. Like, why the fuck do you have a Facebook account, UnitedHealthcare? Anyway, they did that. They posted about the death of their CEO. And the post got 21,000 smiley face responses, like laughing, crying. Can you imagine motherfuckers named Deborah and Barbara clicking on the post with like the 18 font and their tongue sticking out like they're and picking the fucking crying my face off laughing emoji to respond to it 21,000 times? 20, now is at 44? 50,000? The Debras and the Barbaras are the ones who are not supposed to be saying that. Look, this is crazy. Look, United Health Group. We are deeply saddened and shocked at the passing of our dear friend and colleague, Brian Thompson, the CEO of UnitedHealthcare. Brian was a highly respected colleague and friend to all who work with him. We are working closely with the New York Police Department and ask for your patience and understanding during this difficult time. Our hearts go out to Brian's family and all who were close to him. 41,000 ha-has. Only 2.2 thousand kind of sad crying faces. 42,000 ha-has? 40? No, people are now saying it's 51K now. And it's like yet another instance where I think mainstream media and like all of the reputable outlets, reputable institutions, and everyone that's like covering this is diametrically opposed to the way that the overwhelming majority of the population is approaching the subject matter. Like the media is like thoughts and prayers. This person had a family, which is really interesting to say, and I'll get to that in a moment. Fuck it, I'll say it now. This person had a family. Yeah, you know who else has a family? The fucking cancer patient who got their coverage denied. You know what I mean? Like, this person had a family. That's crazy. I know. Okay. So does Bashar al-Assad. So does Vladimir Putin. Okay. Anyway, this person had a family. So did Ted Bundy, you know? But most people were like this. Most people had this take. I'm sorry, prior authorization is required for thoughts and prayers. 15,000 likes. Sending prior authorization, denied claims, collections, and prayers to his family. 16,000 likes. Was his trip to the ER really emergent? According to his own company, my husband's heart attack wasn't an emergency, and we were out $3K, full deductible. 5,000 likes. Is crazy what my first thought was. And then I look at the comments and realize I'm not alone in my thoughts. 1,000 likes. I just can't find the care. Maybe if they ask for pre-approval of my care, then after they care, their required deductible, I might be able to supplement some care. I can't even pretend to care. I hope he's looking up at us. So, it's like, if you're a CEO in one of these sectors, I'm not going to lie, dog, like quit or, bankrupt the company and then start advocating for full-blown healthcare, full communist healthcare, okay? Because goddamn, it's not me. I look, you're a titan of enterprise, okay? And so am I. I'm a rich guy myself. I would never say anything like that, but it seems like other people are saying it. Not me. Can't catch me slipping. I'm not saying it, but other people certainly are saying it. That's what I saw. I saw this and I thought to myself, damn, people are really upset about their health care. Then I thought to myself, if only there was a guy who wanted Medicare for all. If he was president, that motherfucker would probably be alive right now. I mean, it's true. Literally. Maybe he wouldn't have made like $900 gorillion last year, but, he'd still be alive. You know what I'm saying? What's the JFK quote? Those who make peace impossible make violent retribution inevitable. Something along those lines, I think about that a lot. Or was it MLK? Ow, my head. No, that's not. Leftists are evil for wishing for people's deaths. Wishing for people's deaths. Dog. If you think, and I'm being so for real right now, okay? I'm being so for real with you. You can fucking fantasize about this all day, every day. Like, oh, it's the leftists that are doing it. If you think 51,000